Hello, and I'm back. Let me just. All right. Hi. So, watching my first video back, I noticed that I have an old iPhone. I need to get a new one, but I noticed that the volume was really low. So, I thought maybe if I wore headphones, since it's got the little microphone here, that will help. We'll see. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to see, this might be an edited video because my children are home right now, and I don't know if one of them's going to come walking in and need me, but I wanted to at least start this video. So I figured I'd start with talking about my past relationship and how I ended up in it because there were so many red flags that I chose to ignore because of not my priorities, but just because I was young and I was dumb, but I also wasn't in that relationship for the right reasons. We all evolve as we grow older, we learn things and we grow wiser, hopefully. And yeah, this was an immature relationship, but I was in when I met my ex, I was in a very low, vulnerable state. I will get into that story longer down the road of why I was like that. But let's just say I had gone through something really heavy, and actually two things super, super heavy. One, a loss of my brother, which I'll get into. Two, very tragic, horrible loss, and what I was doing to myself, the state of my mind and everything. I was just not in a really great place. I was lost, and I was slowly coming out of this darkness, and I didn't really have a sense of who I was or purpose or anything. I had my family. I've always had a really great family, a great upbringing, and I'm very fortunate for that. And I had them rallied around me, but I didn't allow myself the time needed to heal. Looking back, I should have healed, got my life together, found a new path, found, who I was, and really just worked on self instead of immediately tying myself to someone and just becoming part of their world and their life and allowing that and just being like, okay, this is going to solve all my problems because I don't really want to deal with this. Everything had been, up until a certain point in my life, everything had been almost like picturesque and perfect, and everything had always gone my way, and this and that, and then different things happened, and after a few years of some really being at dark places, hitting rock bottom, and some really sad things happening in my life, I got to a certain point. And I was starting to go on the up, and then I met this person. And like many people like him, I'll throw the word narcissist around. They're very charismatic and outgoing, and they draw in the light. I find that people who don't have the light themselves, they will mimic others, they will take from others, and then they will use that to draw more in. They're attracted to people who have bright lights and are bright lights and have that energy, which I myself, I believe I have that, and I had it. And they're attracted to that because they feed off of it. Majority of people get their energy from source, and actually read that a lot more people than we think do siphon it from others, from each other. Someone like a narcissist, they get all of their light and all of their energy, or a vampire-esque person, whatever you want to call it. When I say, just side note, when I say vampire, I don't mean someone with actual fangs that's like sucking your blood. It's that idea though of like taking your energy, taking your life force and feeding off of it and using it to feed themselves and project it out and use it as their own. So that type of person, they get all of their energy and light from other people. So they usually seek out people with bright lights and slowly feed off of them until they throw them away and find someone new. So, yeah, I met them, and they came from a very wealthy family too. had a bit of a name for themselves in the area. I'm trying not to fully give like direct, say everything word for word, I just want to be a little careful with how I say this, but let's just say that, they were someone that I was attracted to them for the wrong reasons. Looking back, it was just such immature, like, oh, they're popular and they have money and they do cool big things. And like, they love bombed the hell out of me. And I had never experienced that. And I have never experienced like the level that he was living out because of his family and everything. Just the fancy presents, the fancy cars, the fancy hotels, the trips, all of this stuff that I was like, wow, I'm getting swept off my feet. I'm Cinderella. Here's my Prince Charming. And it's funny too, because, now I'm married to a man that I'm attracted to on all levels. I'm attracted to his soul and his heart, who he is, what he does for his community, for his family, for his friends, the type of person he is. Like, he is just a beautiful soul that is just... He wants the best for the world, very much like myself. He helps people. He doesn't judge people. He always is giving his money to homeless people. He always wants to give back. He, was a mentor with the Boys and Girls Club for a long time. He does so much volunteer work. He's a chair on a volunteer committee for climate change. Like, he's just such a good person. And my ex was so the opposite. And I didn't look into any of that because I kind of had the curtain pulled over. I was in this like love bombing dream state of not like realizing and not really like looking into this person and into their soul and who they were and what drove them. Even like the things we had in common, like not much. So, we dated, we got engaged, we got married, and it felt like there were so many signs leading up to it of why I shouldn't have been with him, why I should never have married him or gotten engaged. Like, the fighting was unreal. The drama, I remember early on, he was so insecure. If someone like made a joke about him, he would lose it. I mean, not just like, haha, okay, don't make fun of me. Like, I mean, like, cause a scene. It was the end of the night. And if I laughed or if I tried to like say a comment or a jab here or there, it was like I got ripped apart later when I got home. He loved to lie. And if I called him out, I learned pretty quickly, like if I called him out, then I got ripped apart when we got home. And it's like saying these things now, and I'm sure you're like, why would you ever stay with someone like that? Well, because of everything. I went from living at home in this healing from something very dark, nothing to do with my family, but like something that happened to me. And then I was living in this high-rise apartment. I had everything I needed. I didn't need to work. All this fancy things. It was like I didn't want to lose out that life I then had, Again, I was taken away, and he put me in my tower of sorts. And, we were having all this fun and stuff. And it was just like, okay, whatever. As a girl, you think you can change them. You can't. It was bad. It was bad, but the highs were high and the lows were low. And like, I don't know what I thought was going to happen. I don't know why. There were so many red flags, so many red flags, so many reasons. Like, spirit and the universe tried to tell me, this is not the path you're meant to be going down. This is not the person you're meant to be with. This is not the life you're meant to live. But I never would have got on the right path if not for being with that person, because of the transformation that happened to me and because of the insane lessons I learned that I needed to learn. Because if I didn't learn them, I would have kept putting myself in the same situations, because that's what happens. You get put into a situation and you need to learn the lesson. If you don't, it will keep repeating until you learn that lesson. That's how it works, right? I'm just going to pause and come back and finish this because I think I hear my baby crying. So